Good evening, everyone. On behalf of English Language Teachers Association of India, I welcome you all to the 95th webinar titled Teaching with Infographics, Practicing New Digital Competencies and Visual Literacies. Dear participants, I have a few announcements. Certificate of participation will be issued to students, foreign participants, and the ELTAI members who attend the entire session. We have a chat box facility on this platform. You can share your opinions, views related to the topic. You can post your questions and queries here. The speaker will answer those questions during the question and answer session. I request you not to share your personal information like a mobile number, email ID, and Facebook link, etc. here. Before moving on to the webinar, may I request the participants to watch ELTAI promotional video. Thank you very much for watching the video. Now, we have with us Dr. Mohini Billore, the moderator of today's webinar. Dr. Mohini Billore has a vast teaching and corporate experience. She has worked with organizations such as Larsen and Tobro, VJIT Mumbai, Don Bosco Engineering College, Career Launcher, IMS Learning Solutions, and IIIT Bhopal. Her areas of teaching interests are language laboratory and interviews and group discussions for campus selections. She was a corporate trainer for LLT, Indian Institute of Insurance, and many others. She is currently working as a freelancer and a business consultant. She is also an active member of ELTAI. Over to you, Dr. Mohini.
Thank you very much, sir, and greetings and welcome to all the members who are attending this wonderful webinar. And there is a lot of interesting stuff and content that we are all waiting for, and it really is on the way for us. It's my privilege to be the moderator of this webinar today, and it's also my privilege to introduce our eminent resource person for the seminar. Dr. Prajna Pani is a professor of English at Centurion University of Technology and Management, Odisha. She obtained her PhD from Utkal University in 2008. Her specializations include linguistics, ELT, and 20th century British literature. Dr. Pani has received the Faculty Excellence Award 2013 and New Age Teacher Award in 2015 from the university. She has invested more than 20 years in teaching, mentoring, training, and development. She is drawn in exploring the innovative teaching methods using Moodle software, learning apps, infographics, blogs using WordPress, and ELT 4.0 tools and technology. She has published more than 45 papers in national and international journals of repute, and also presented papers in national and international conferences, the most notable ones being in Harvard Faculty Club, USA, Imperial College London, and National University Singapore. Her interest areas are ELT 4.0 pedagogy, emotional intelligence, etc. Dr. Prajna has edited the book Education Technology for Engagement and Experience, A New Approach to Learning. She is the co-editor of the book Repositioning Folklore and Indigenous Knowledge Systems. She has authored a book titled Memory as Transcendence in T.S. Eliot's Poetry. She is also the co-author of 2 books, Emotional Intelligence and Communication at Workplace, and Exploring Correlations among Attitude, Self-Efficacy, and English Language Achievement. With this, I welcome our eminent speaker of the evening, Dr. Prajna Pani.
Thank you, Dr. Mohini, for such a beautiful introduction. I'm glad to be associated with ELTAI, and special thanks to Professor Ilango and the organizing committee for providing me such a wonderful opportunity to share my insights and practical experiences. I'll take a moment to share my screen. Can you see the screen? Dr. Mohini? Is my screen visible?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Once again, I would like to welcome you to this webinar on the title, Teaching with Infographics, Practising New Digital Competencies and Visual Literacies. I'm sure this webinar will stimulate you to rethink, to reimagine teaching and learning. So here we go with the outline of today's webinar. Infographics overview. Why infographics? Ask yourself. Infographic tools, infographic formats, teaching with infographics. So before we dive into the world of infographic platform, I would like to request the participants to log into menti.com, the code 3904. The main purpose is to understand the audience, so I would like to request you to take a moment to give your feedback. So I'll be waiting for a couple of minutes and would like to request you. Yes, thank you. 2 participants have already submitted the responses. Could you make it a little fast? It will help me to understand the audience before we begin. Most of the participants are aware of the infographic tools. That's great. I would like to request other participants to quickly fill in the form so that we can have an overall idea. I'll have a basic understanding of the level of the audience. Okay, thank you for sharing your views. Well, my friends, the world is changing, time is changing, the learning preferences are changing, the teaching style is changing. And most of the organizations are implementing transformational change to be more adaptive and agile. And let me tell you, this transformational change is possible only with the adoption of new processes and tools. We all know the power of the infographics. Let me talk a little bit about infographics. Infographics are visual representations of information, data, knowledge, which are meant to present complex information precisely, quickly, and clearly. Infographics can be used as education tools, learning tools, and the main purpose is to help the learners to make connections, inspire engagement with the content. As you all know, visual digital literacy competencies are the essential for 21st century learners across the disciplines. Understand the power of the infographics. They have the power to tell a story, new, untold, undiscovered. They provide simplified, creative, and engaging representations of the complex idea. And if you look at this statistical data, when you listen to some information without visuals, only 10% of the information is retained. But if you listen to the information with some visuals, you retain 65% of the information. Now, why infographics? If you look at this visual representation, you will find an answer to this question, why infographics? You have a conceptual idea to share. Now, if you look at the traditional document format, it can be written and your audience can interpret it. What's the goal? Where to start? Where to begin? Now, when I say that your audience can interpret it, I'm leaving the message to the audience to be interpreted. That means it leaves scope for misrepresentation. Concepts are open to misrepresentation. Sometimes it's difficult to comprehend. It is lengthy and sometimes disengaging. And when we look at the alternative, the use of infographics in your text, in your presentation, it can be illustrated. Your audience can exactly understand the message. In other words, your audience can experience it. Here, what I mean to say is the main purpose of infographics is not only to inform, but to make the viewing experience amusement and audience engagement. Infographics is everywhere. And let's discuss about the importance of visual communication by discussing some statistical data. Most people only remember 20% of what they read, and 40% of people respond better to visuals. 50% of the brain is active in visual processing, and 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual. This is the main purpose why everybody is willing to use infographics in everyday life. Now, I will make a quick rundown of why infographics is important or what makes a good infographics. Ask yourself, does it tell a story? Does it bring any value to the audience, to the learners? Does it inform them? Is it easy to understand? Are you able to solve the problems of the students? Is there a visual appeal to the design? That means whether it is visually appealing. Does it take the learners on a predefined journey? Where to start? Where to end? What are the steps? Are they effective in learning purposes? So take a creative pause and ask these questions to yourself before designing and after designing the infographic. Now, another important factor is the visual, is the content directed towards the target audience? Are you focusing on one central message? That's the question that you should be asking to yourself. Now, let's come to the next part of the webinar. Let me expose you to some of the infographic tools. Canva.com, Vismead.co, Wengage.com, Pictochart.com, Infogram.com, Sketchbubble.com. You can explore all these sites by logging in. If you are interested, you can log in now, and while we discuss, you can also participate in the discussion. So these are some of the screenshots that I have taken. I will be taking you to these websites, these infographic platforms. But before we dive into these platforms, you can have a glimpse of the various templates that can be used in the classroom for research purposes. So you can have a look at this timeline, the statistics, process description, because most of the time we ask our students to describe a process. So these kind of templates will be very much useful and can be integrated into the classroom assignments. I have taken this screenshot from Info Template Library. These are some of the screenshots, the dashboards. And if you look at the left panel, you will find out what kind of templates are available, like reports, you have dashboards, you have email headers, virtual backgrounds, whatever you want to use, you can pick and you can use it. And if you have concepts, you can use concept maps. Okay, most of the time, either you are being asked to submit reports, write reports, or you ask your students to write reports, and most of the time they look dull. And when they present, that's a monotonous presentation. So try to use mind maps, concept maps, okay? And sometimes you ask your students to prepare newsletters as part of the course. You ask them to prepare resumes, and you can use some of the templates to prepare the lesson plans. This screenshot is taken from Pictochart. Now let's talk about some infographic formats. What are the various types of infographic formats? Everybody is hooked to the visual presentations. So we have visual infographic. You can have a look at this infographic. This is about the communication process. It is visually presented. And if you want to make a list of things, you can use list-based infographic, a list of things, or you have some steps to be presented, then you can use list-based infographic. You can choose the map infographic if you are interested to present some data sets. This is an example of comparison infographic. If you want to compare something, the similarities, the dissimilarities, you can very much use this comparison infographic. And this is called the age of data visualization or statistical infographic. If you want to present some statistical data and if you want to use some visualization tools, you can very much use these kind of templates. You are very much familiar with the flowchart formats. This is another type of infographic. When you're writing projects and sometimes in reports, you need to mention the timeline. So if you want to present something chronologically, you can use the timeline infographic. You can have a glimpse of it. I'll take you to the site to show you more designs. And visual resumes are in trend now. We no more use the traditional templates. So if you want your students to stand out in the crowd, if you want your students to come up with the selling points precisely, clearly, you can always recommend them to use the visual resume where you have less text and more of visuals. This will look appealing. As I've already mentioned, in process description paragraphs, we sometimes ask the students to write process description paragraphs, or we can also give them some process description and ask them to make a presentation in the class. This is an example of animated infographic. If you want to add animations in the form of pop-ups or GIF, you can always use animated infographic to attract the attention of the audience. Now, you may ask, how do we integrate these infographic templates in the classes? I'm sure most of you might be using in different ways. Some of you can come up with examples like how to teach grammar using infographics. At the school level, you can do that. For vocabulary development, you can use these word clouds. Those are very simple examples. Now, most of the companies, most of the workplaces, they demand dynamic presentations. So you can choose infographic templates to make presentations where you will have less text and more of visuals, interactive charts for better comprehension and understanding. Similarly, you can pick your report templates and can write reports. Proposal templates are there. Resume templates, for an example I have shown. I will be once again taking you to the various portals to show you how it can be done. And most of the companies ask the students to analyze the data. And even in IELTS, students are given pictures, graphs, charts, and they are asked to make analysis. They are asked to write essays. So you can very well use these kind of assignments in the class. Now, I would like to give you one example that I have done in my class. I would like to share my experiences, and it was quite engaging. So sometimes we conduct show and tell warm-up classes, ice-breaking classes, or in speaking classes, these kind of activities can be conducted. Like you can ask the students to bring in photographs or these kind of animated images or what we call assets that will enhance the creativity and critical thinking of the students. And other students may be invited to share, to explain what this image is about. The teacher can also do that, but if the students prepare, they will improve how to design this kind of templates. They will increase their creativity. It will enhance their critical thinking abilities. And they can make presentations as individuals they can make pair presentations, they can make group presentations, and they can ask questions to each other. Teachers can also prompt the audience to ask questions. Students can be evaluated. Like one of my colleagues had asked me this question, Madam, can we use this tool to make evaluations? I would say that we can make creative assessments by using these kind of templates. Like students can be assessed based on communication, content, use of tools, and creativity. So I would like to invite the response of the audience. What exactly how do they interpret this image? So let us go to our discussion, 2-minute discussion, to see what is the response of the audience. I have unshared the screen so that I can see your chat. Yes. I would be glad if you can share your thoughts and views on the image that I had shown you. Hope everybody had seen that. If you could post your responses here, that would be really great. Hello. Yes, can you hear my voice? Yes, mindfulness. I want more responses, because these kind of activities can be conducted in brainstorming classes. You can include it in idea generation activities. Think and explore your ideas. Okay, I want more captions. Attentive, one has to be attentive. Okay. Knowledge filling, wonderful. I'm expecting more responses. Critical thinking and feeding the mind, which is very much important. Any far-fetched idea that comes to your mind, you can very much. Receiving information from anywhere, yes. This is called the age of abundance, and you have a lot of information. Okay, we can continue with this. Yeah, I'm back to my screen. Hope you are able to see it. In case you are not, I would like to request the organizers to. Okay, thank you.
Yes, we can see it, ma'am.
So I had conducted a research, and I had conducted a pilot study where the students were asked to use infographics for different kinds of projects, and students have given their feedback on the usefulness of infographics in business communication classes. So they have shared that it was quite useful in report writing, proposals, resume, as a project management tool, to make illustrations, to prepare charts, mind maps, and concept maps, and many more. So I think these kind of activities should be incorporated. Now, before I summarize this session, I would like to take you to one of the infographic tool. So I think you are able to see this. Infogram template library. Are you able to see this? Can I request the moderator to respond? Okay. So if there are any questions till now, you can also ask me, because it is important. I can explain those things while I showcase these sites. So you have a lot of templates. If you can look at the left panel, reports, slides, dashboards, posters, social media posts, email headers. Pick up something that can be used in the class. So here we can have a look at the timeline. See, I had already logged into this site, so the site is not allowing me to edit it, because some of the templates are free, are accessible, and for some templates we have to pay. So I have exhausted the free sites to explore more about infographic. So these things can be edited. The dates, the content can be edited. This is an example of a timeline. Now I'll take you to process description kind of template. So you can design your own templates. These are all fixed. There are options, pick and drop facilities which can be used. Now this is a very wonderful template, a resume. See how precise it is. The candidate can use infographic to talk about the skills. You can see the candidate is talking about her writing skills, her design skills, marketing abilities, and research. Now you see how precisely the experience, education is presented. These are all editable. You can edit it. You can edit the year. And if you want to add more images, you can add on to the library. You can use the images that are available in the library. At the same time, you can also upload the images that you want to add to your resume. See how beautifully the skills and languages have been presented. And you can add more on hobbies. The candidate has used infographic to talk about the hobbies. Let us explore more. Hope you are able to see it. You can also create it.
Yes,
ma'am. You can look at 4-5 examples and you can make your own. So see how the timeline is mentioned. I said something that you want to present chronologically. You can use the timeline format. You can talk about the education, about your skills, about the languages that you know or your student knows, and you see the hobbies are presented using a word cloud. And when you are talking about or you're mentioning your contact information, you can add the icons. So here we have some dashboards. Let's have a look at one dashboard. See, when you want to make a presentation, you can use these kind of interactive charts. And this will hook the attention of the audience. Let us have a look at another report. These are all examples of interactive charts which can be included during the presentation. You can change these data sets and you can add the real data when you are making a presentation. And when you are preparing reports, you can use this kind of infographic, use less content and more of infographic. So let's go to one more template, Wengage. These are all popular sites. You have informational infographic. You can have a look at it. I would be glad at the same time if you open your system and log into these sites. See how beautifully things are presented. There are various kinds of timelines, a lot of designs which can be used. You can pick any one that you like. These are some examples. There are more infographic tools. If you go to Google, you will discover a lot. Try to use these kind of infographics in your presentations, in your reports, which are quite engaging. Here is an opportunity to enhance the creativity of the learners, critical thinking, improve the critical thinking abilities, process description. You can describe any process that you like by using these kind of templates. You can create templates. There are options to create templates. You will have empty templates where you can use. And the best part about these kind of sites is to invite the members. You can collaborate with other members to complete your task. There are statistical sites. Let us open one to see. See, it is all about drag and drop. So the research scholars can use these kind of infographic in their thesis. When they are explaining the difficult concepts to the learners, they can use visuals. Let us explore more. You have reports, mind maps. Let's open one from mind maps. These are various kinds of templates. If you have varied ideas, or you can take one empty template and go to the class, or you can ask the students to brainstorm and come up with the mind maps and make a presentation in the class. So let's open one template. Okay, hope you are able to see. Then let's move to create on Wizme. This is also a popular site where we have various features. You can design anything like presentations, infographics. It is taking time to open. Yes, I think you are able to see now. You have various kinds of documents where you can come up with proposals. You can prepare reports. You have more resume templates. Okay, so let's open one proposal writing template. See here, there is an option, preview and edit. Now I have not logged in, so I will not be able to go to the edit page. Let's preview the templates. Okay, it is asking me to log in, so it will take a lot of time. Let's see where it takes us. Okay. On the left margin or in the left panel, you can see there are a lot of charts, diagrams, tables. So how to use these kind of tables? I will randomly drag something and put it on the screen, which can be edited, where you can change the color, the background, the theme. There are options to do that. You can try when you are on the platform. It is not being deleted now. I'm trying. So I'll take you to various features, graphics. Okay, you have 3D graphics. If you want to use this kind of graphics, you can just drag and drop it on the screen. You can upload photographs. Okay, you have a lot of photographs in the library, and if you don't have, and you can upload, go to upload and get it. So statistical data can be presented through these kind of tables and other charts. There is media. If you want to add media, it has to be uploaded. You can change the theme color. Default colors are there. Background colors can be changed. The theme colors can be changed. Okay. So this is all about the various infographic platforms, Infogram, Vengeance, Visme. Now let's conclude this session. I would like to summarize the session. So please do use infographics. It is very easy to integrate in your classes, and try to spice up your presentation with these kind of images, pop-ups, animated charts, and those kind of presentations will hook the attention of the audience. You can share it with your friends, with your colleagues, and as you know that visuals have impact, and that impact can be achieved through infographics. And the best part is it has the potential to tell interesting stories. And you can communicate clearly, quickly, inspire the audience to be more productive, collaborative, and connected, and it enhances creativity. So with this, I would like to end my session and would like to request the moderator to share the feedback, or if there are any questions, we can take up for discussion.
It definitely was a very wonderful session, ma'am. And these are not just my words. In fact, I was going through all these comments during the session, and everyone was saying that it is a very wonderful, useful, and creative presentation that you've made just for all of us. There are a few good questions also, which I would like to put up in front of you so that you can answer them. The first one came from Mr. Aravindan, and he asked, how can we use infographic projects in speaking activities for second language learners?
Yeah, I think I have given one example. I would like to take you to my screen again. Just a moment. Yeah, this is one example. Okay, so we can conduct sessions on visual perception activities. Okay, like we can come up with this kind of assets that will provoke or that will stimulate the interest of the participants to speak on the given topic. Okay, that is one example. And I think if the response comes from the participant side, that would be really great. And we can give assignments to the students. Like we can ask them to, wait a minute, I'll take you to this site only. Presentation. Okay. So I'll open randomly one presentation template. Like if the theme is digital, so we can identify topics on the trending areas. Like we can make or we can divide the whole class. If it is of 30 students, we can come up with a group with 5 students, and they can be given topics like on technology, online classes, digital, or creativity, anything, any social theme, anything that they like, gender, anything. So what we can do after that, we can ask the students to collaborate with each other and make the presentation, prepare the presentation, and then they can come to the class to make a group presentation. Similarly, we can ask the students to use this, can be done by using this presentation templates. We have mind maps. I think I have to go to the home page to show you. There are mind map templates which can be used in the presentation classes. We can give them some thought-provoking tools. If you want to ask the students to make group presentations, they can make group presentations. If you ask them to make pair presentations or individual presentations, it depends upon the teacher and the size of the class. And if the students go for group presentations, that would be really great. We can give them topics, problem solution related topics. Students can use it and they can brainstorm and they can prepare templates, mind maps, and they can come up with their presentations, group presentations. Anything else? See, if we sit and plan, a lot of ideas will come to the mind. Similarly, students can make, we ask them to write reports. Okay. So we can ask them to present their report in the class, in the presentation class. That is another example. We can, we conduct jam sessions, just a minute topics. We provide just a minute topics to the students, and they are allowed to speak for 1 minute, where we check the creativity of the students' presence of mind, communication skills. So we can come up with visual perception testing skills in the presentation classes. I think I have answered to the question.
Yeah, thank you very much. In fact, there are a lot of questions that are coming in. The next question that I'm taking is from Professor Zedan Patil. He asks, do you think all learning styles, that is auditory, bodily, gustatory, tactile, and olfactory, and all types of intelligence respond to infographics equally comfortably? That is his question.
Well, for that, we have to conduct a research whether there is equal impact or not. But what I have experimented with my students, so it is having an impact on their visual perception, and they are motivated to speak in the class. Even I have experimented in the writing classes, as I have told, in IELTS writing, we provide them some charts, tables, graphs, maps, and we ask them to write about that, and the students are very much interested to work when there are visuals. And even I would like to say that when the teacher makes a presentation using this infographic visuals, the class is quite interesting, and almost all the students are interested to attend to the class, and they also learn from the teachers.
Thank you very much. Next question comes from Dr. Vinod K. Chopra. He asks, infographics is a great source of imparting knowledge, but what to do in a situation where there are no computers or smart boards in the classroom?
Yes, that's the question. I was expecting this question, and I think other participants can also share by posting their responses so that together we can sort out these issues. Like in most of the places, there is low internet connectivity. Okay, so there comes our role. Like the neighboring colleges, the neighboring universities can play a vital role. So we can bring in those students, or we can go with a device to their places, and we can spend some time that would be really meaningful. That's the immediate solution that I see, though the government is taking a lot of steps, but still a lot of things are to be done. And I think what we do, I have seen, I had visited Pune, and there is one organization called Ekalavya. So what they are going, they are visiting all villages, nearby schools where there is low connectivity, where the students are not well connected to these kind of worlds. So they are carrying the devices, and sometimes they are bringing the students to their places.
Okay.
Is there,
The
if
next
there is any
question.
other response from the audience, I would also would be happy to take it. Okay.
Okay.
Any other
The
question?
next question is from Mr. Nand Kumar Govindarasu. He writes, "Dear ma'am, I have a few students in my class who are physically challenged, especially visually challenged students. Can you
Okay.
suggest an appropriate infographic that can be useful to enhance their learning experience?"
Well, I don't have any, right now I don't have any answer to this question, because I have not explored those kind of tools that are meant for the visually challenged students. So I think I'll try to explore and get back to you, sir. This is a nice question and very important. So I'll definitely explore and get back to you.
The next one is from Dr. Labh Singh. He asks, what is the scope of infographics for income generation for self-supporting the studies?
Self-supporting the studies. Okay, if this question, I need more clarification in this question.
Okay, maybe he'll respond. In the meantime, we can take up the next question.
Yeah.
Do we have, this is from Parag Kumar D. Dave. He asks, do we have any visual research methods to analyze this infographic?
Well, there are visual theories, okay, like perception theories, and I don't recall other theories, sensual theories, and multiple intelligence theory. There are a lot of theories that will support to these kind of things. So I would like to suggest visual theories and sensual theories, and multiple theories. Yes.
This can be a very interesting research topic for the future researchers.
Yes, definitely, because this is called the age of data visualization, and a lot of focus. You can see that we have these kind of platforms in abundance, and they are very widely used by the students, by the teachers, by the researchers. And self-support, there was some question, like we can also upload our assets, and those assets can also be monetized.
Next one is from just a minute. The next one is from Manasi Mishra. How this infographic tools can be useful for grammar or spoken English classes?
Spoken English classes, I have already mentioned, like we can use in jam sessions, in presentation classes, in group discussion classes. And coming to the grammar classes, particularly, it can be used for the school kids. Like we can come up with some visuals to explain the grammar concepts. For example, where to use in, where to use on. Suppose I say that I'm in the market, I'm at the market. To show this difference, visuals can be added. Yes, somebody has mentioned it needs teachers' expertise in using infographic tools. So there are a lot of tools, a lot of templates, but how to rightly use that has to be experimented with a small group before we take it to a large audience. So I request the ELTAI members to conduct workshops on these trending areas. Because as I said at the beginning, the learning style is changing, time is changing, learning preferences are changing, and we have to be in tune with the time. Any other question?
Maybe this is the last question that we are taking. We are able to take, because see, there are a lot of questions from the participants, but I'm taking the questions that are appearing very commonly. Vignesh Ramamurthy asks, can we use infographics for preparing teachers' resume?
Of course, why not? But you have to see where you are sending, because you see, even when we ask the students to send it to some companies or organizations for a job, we have to look at the profile of the job. There are companies which are flexible, and these kind of resumes are welcome, but there are also organizations where they look for traditional form. So teachers, we are also a part of the LinkedIn community, so we can create these kind of resumes and upload it. I think everybody will appreciate the use of these kind of templates. They are more powerful than these traditional formats.
Amazing. I believe the participants, including myself, we all are going to have more and more revisions of what you've shared with us. And it was no doubt a very precious information and experience that you've shared with all of us. I'm sure everybody will have benefited from it, and will also pass on the benefit to our new generation, our lovely students. With this, I thank you a lot, ma'am. And I indeed am one of those people who, in spite of having my own share of experience, have learned a lot from this webinar. So thank you very much. And I thank ELTAI also for organizing this wonderful webinar. Over to ELTAI now.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you all for being an active part of this practically useful webinar. Now, feedback link will be posted in the chat box. I request all the participants to submit the feedback form. Now, let me have the privilege of announcing ELTAI next webinar. The next webinar, ELTAI 96th webinar, titled Creating Podcasts for Your Learners. It is on 24th of this month. Dr. Shobha K.N., Assistant Professor of English from Anna University, is the speaker. It will be moderated by Dr. B. Julaiha Shakil, Secretary, ELTAI Thoothukudi Chapter. So I request you all to register for this webinar and participate in it. Thank you all.
Dr. Reddy, and thank you, Joseph. And thanks to Dr.
Much,
Mohini and all the participants.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Joseph. Thank you, Dr. Reddy.